Imagine waking up to chaos, a once thriving goat herd now fighting for survival. What went wrong? Could it have been prevented? In this video, I'll share the story of one critical mistake that almost cost me everything. From the heart-pounding moment I discovered the problem to the lessons I learned, this experience was a wake-up call for every goat owner. Stick around, because this could save your herd too. My goat herd journey. Raising goats wasn't just a hobby for me. It was a dream turned into reality. I started small with 3 goats, dedicating hours to learning about their care. From understanding their diets to building secure housing, I left no stone unturned. As the herd grew to over 20 goats, so did my confidence. Watching them graze in the lush pastures I worked hard to maintain felt rewarding. They provided milk, companionship, and a sense of fulfillment. But with growth came responsibility. I believed I had prepared for every scenario, from illness to predators. Yet, as I would soon learn, even the smallest oversight could bring chaos. Little did I know, one mistake was brewing, and it would test every ounce of my knowledge and determination to protect the animals I loved. The day it all went wrong. That morning started like any other, until I stepped into the goat pen. Something felt off immediately. The usually energetic herd was eerily quiet. Some goats stood motionless, their heads hanging low. Others appeared disoriented, refusing to eat. As I looked closer, my stomach dropped. A few goats showed alarming signs, foaming at the mouth, diarrhea, and trembling. The sight of my once thriving herd now in distress filled me with panic. I scanned their environment for clues, desperately trying to figure out what went wrong. The critical mistake. As I pieced things together, the source of the problem became alarmingly clear: moldy feed. A sack of grain had been stored carelessly, allowing moisture to seep in unnoticed. Mold had formed, but I hadn't checked thoroughly before feeding it to the herd. Moldy grain is a ticking time bomb for goats, as it produces toxins that can wreak havoc on their systems. The signs, lethargy, diarrhea, and frothy mouths, were classic symptoms of poisoning. I was horrified that something as simple as poor storage could put my entire herd in danger. I realized this wasn't just an oversight. It was a critical mistake with serious consequences. Though I couldn't change what had happened, I knew I had to act immediately to minimize the damage and save as many goats as I could. Immediate action. Faced with a herd in crisis, I had to act quickly. My first step was to remove the moldy grain and thoroughly clean the feeding areas to prevent further exposure. Next, I isolated the sick goats from the healthy ones to limit potential cross-contamination. The vet instructed me over the phone to offer fresh water and electrolyte solutions immediately to combat dehydration. I also administered activated charcoal under their guidance, which helps neutralize toxins in the digestive system. As I waited for the vet's arrival, I monitored the goats closely, noting which ones seemed to worsen. Every passing moment felt critical. By the time the vet arrived, I had taken all the preliminary steps possible to stabilize the herd. Those measures, though rushed, gave my goats the fighting chance they desperately needed. The vet's diagnosis. When the vet examined my goats, the diagnosis confirmed my fears: aflatoxin poisoning caused by moldy feed. The vet explained that aflatoxins are highly toxic compounds produced by certain molds, and even a small amount can have catastrophic effects on livestock. The signs my goats showed, diarrhea, lethargy, and drooling, were clear indicators of poisoning. The vet commended my quick action, noting it likely prevented a larger tragedy. However, several goats were already in critical condition and required intensive care, including IV fluids and specialized treatments. The vet emphasized that aflatoxin poisoning is entirely preventable with proper feed storage. The word stung because I knew I could have avoided this situation. Still, I was determined to focus on saving my goats and preventing this mistake from ever happening again. Recovery. The road back. The recovery process was slow and demanding. First, I revamped my feeding routine, ensuring all contaminated feed was disposed of and replaced with high-quality, toxin-free grain. The goats were given a tailored recovery diet rich in probiotics and vitamins to restore their gut health and strength. The sickest goats required daily monitoring and frequent vet check-ins. I spent hours ensuring they drank enough fluids and took their supplements. Some days were hopeful, while others were heartbreaking, especially when I lost 2 young kids who couldn't recover. Despite the losses, most of the herd began showing signs of improvement. Seeing them regain their appetite and energy reminded me that patience and perseverance were paying off. The experience tested me deeply but also strengthened my resolve to never let this happen again. Lessons learned. This ordeal taught me lessons I'll never forget. The first and most important is that prevention is always better than reaction. Proper feed storage isn't just good practice, it's vital for the health of your herd. Airtight containers and a dry, cool storage area are non-negotiable. Second, regular feed inspections are a must. If the grain smells off, appears discolored, or clumps together, it's not worth the risk. Acting fast when symptoms appear is also crucial. Even minutes can save lives. Lastly, having an emergency plan, including vet contact info and a stocked first aid kit, can make all the difference. These lessons came at a high cost, but they've made me a more attentive and prepared caretaker for my goats. Preventative measures for every goat owner. Preventing disasters like mine requires vigilance and preparation. First, always store feed in airtight containers in a dry, ventilated space. This keeps moisture out and reduces the risk of mold growth. Buy feed in small quantities to avoid prolonged storage, and inspect every bag for signs of mold or damage before use. Pasture checks are equally important. Ensure there are no poisonous plants or standing water where your goats graze. Create an emergency kit with essentials like activated charcoal, electrolyte powder, and a digital thermometer. Keep your vet's contact info handy and educate yourself on common goat illnesses. Finally, set a schedule for regular herd health checks to catch issues early. These steps may take extra effort, but they're worth it to ensure your herd stays healthy and thriving. Reflecting on the experience. This mistake was a harsh wake-up call, but it reshaped how I care for my goats. Losing 2 of them was devastating, but the experience taught me the importance of constant vigilance and responsible farming. I realized that caring for animals isn't just about providing food and shelter. It's about anticipating risks and being prepared to handle emergencies. My goats rely on me entirely, and I owe them my best efforts. Though painful, this experience strengthened my resolve to be a better caretaker. It also reminded me of the resilience of these incredible animals. Watching the rest of my herd recover was a powerful reminder that mistakes can be corrected, and valuable lessons can arise from even the darkest moments. To anyone watching this, don't wait for a crisis to take action. Whether you're a new goat owner or a seasoned farmer, the health of your herd starts with the small daily choices you make. Learn from my mistake so you don't have to live through it yourself. And remember, even when things go wrong, quick thinking and determination can make all the difference. If you found this story helpful or know someone who might benefit from these tips, please give this video a thumbs up and share it. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more farming stories and goat care tips. Thanks for watching.